Good morning, Ultimate Family. Still morning here on the East Coast. So I guess it's still morning most places. Um, Watched the Ultimate event on Sunday. That was a real treat. Got to see all the great speakers, and Steve was on Fuego. And one of the things that he was talking about really got me thinking. And the theme, of course, was we're creating our experience of everything, right? He used the example of if somebody sees him as arrogant, well, that's because they're creating him as that. That's what they're looking for, and they'll find evidence of it. And that's so true, and as with things that are true, I find that just means we're gonna never run out of places to explore where we don't see it as true. I wonder why my dog is click-clacking here. Come here, buddy. Come on. We'll get Jax the Wonder Dog off the floor so he won't make a ruckus. Ugh, there he is. Okay, he's here. Now we can begin. Jax, your head looks huge here. Looks bigger than mine, but that's okay. Anyway, so we can know intellectually that everything about somebody else is being created within us. And we can know intellectually that something is creating about us is created inside of them. And there's a difference between intellectually knowing it and, I don't know, sort of, what do you do with that? How do you be with that? And specifically what I'm referring to is, or who I'm speaking to, or anybody who has the idea that they want to serve others, support others, right? You see, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, if you go to a job and you kind of do some work and then you go home, maybe you're at a factory making skateboards or something, well, the places in your life that you run the risk, okay, you're good, no need, your paws are perfect. The places in your life where you run the risk of somebody creating you as something, well, they're less, right? They might create you as a shitty driver or a bad parent, but even those are sort of manageable. For those of you who are coaches, aspiring coaches, professional coaches, still coaching, friends and family, whatever, right? Well, that is an incredibly large canvas or context for our being to have an opinion about how others are creating us, right? It's one thing for Steve Hardison to get up and say, yeah, people think I'm arrogant. I don't care. And I believe he doesn't. But for most of us, well, it can ping, right? We want to be liked. We want to have an impact. Sometimes that can get in the way of the serving, right? We're more committed to making sure the other person doesn't create us as something that would make them uncomfortable, even though that's not in our control, than possibly we are to serving them. And I'll speak for myself here. I ask the question, where am I pulling punches? Where am I holding back? Where am I not saying what needs to be said? And where am I not saying what I see? Because of a concern I have for how they're going to think about me, knowing full well that however they think about me is how they're creating me. It's not how I am. But I can get a little meta here. I can notice myself having an opinion about it anyway, and I have to do some work to clear that out. And I don't believe that that work will ever be done, right? Until maybe someday when I have a lobotomy or something, I will produce the thoughts, this being will produce the thoughts that relate to opinions about how other people are creating me, even though I know it's them creating me. It's not me doing it. I'm not a certain way. Others create me as a certain way. Nobody is a certain way. I create them as that way. Adam Grant, no, not Adam Grant. The 4-Hour Workweek guy. It'll come back to me in a minute. Has a really good post, an article he wrote, and it's something like the 10 things nobody tells you about becoming famous. God, it's really strange. I can't remember the guy's name. If one of you guys come up with it, put it in the chat or something, because it's on the tip of my tongue. 4-Hour Workweek. 4-Hour Workweek. Oh well. Thank you, Michael. Tim Ferriss. Duh. Yeah. He writes an article, so you can search Tim Ferriss, what I didn't know about fame or top things you don't know about fame. And he talks about how the greater an audience you create, well, it's sort of like there's a village and there's a city and then there's a state. Good morning, Lori, as well. And in any population, there are going to be outliers, right? And he uses the example of people who truly have had a psychotic break, right? Who hear voices and who think that Tim Ferriss is telling them to come to his house and bring him cookies or kill him or something. So the bigger the audience you're in, the more people there are creating you, the more likely there will be people creating you as something other than you want to be created, something that maybe isn't flattering. And that's just how it goes, right? I have a couple YouTube videos that, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 views, and these are from back in the days when I did a lot of sales consulting. And there's lots of comments in there like, this guy's an idiot. This guy's full of himself, meaning me. He's arrogant, right? And it's easy to go, well, why do they think that, and how do I fix that? Well, first of all, you can't. It's them creating it. And second of all, that's how it works, right? If I have the right to my free will in terms of my opinions, well, so does everybody else. And again, it only matters for me based on the degree to which I want to go out and serve more and more. I'm going to run into people who ain't buying what I'm selling. Not just ain't buying what I'm selling, I'm going to run into people who think I'm a fraud, think I'm doing harm. I was talking to somebody the other day, and this person has an aspiration to move millions. I love that. Make no mistake, you're in a situation to move millions. There will be not just a few, there will be hundreds, probably thousands who go, that guy needs to be stopped. That person is doing real harm here. It's going to happen. And yes, they're creating it. They're creating me. They'd be creating them, him. But that's how it goes. There's no escaping it. Impact, creating impact at scale means you're going to get some rocks thrown at you. It means some arrows are going to be coming. Are you ready to deal with that? Are you prepared? Are you able to process through what that's even about? There's been some stuff in the news about, there's a singer, Sia. I think it's S-I-A. And she had this like black and blonde hair thing going, and I thought she was pretty cool. Well, she produced and directed or wrote a movie about autism. And she recently came out with an article talking about how the backlash of all of this, movie she put out and the people that didn't like it, sent her into a relapse of drug abuse and almost suicide. I mean, think about it. Here's a woman who I guarantee didn't set out to create a movie about autism to hurt people with autism. That I'm pretty certain of that. In fact, I'm confident of that. But to go and read what people say, there are people that genuinely believe this woman did massive harm. Nobody's giving her credit. Not nobody. They're not giving her credit for, hey, taking a whack at it, and maybe you had some of the people advising you who didn't know everything they should have known. That's how it goes. They came after her. Right? Sounds like she wasn't ready to process that. That there are going to be some people that didn't just go, not a good movie, but like, no, she's trying to harm us. That person is evil. I mean, you should see some of the comments they write about her. So, this isn't trying to motivate people. I think my wife's getting fired up in there talking to somebody. I love hearing her talking and can you hear it? Oh, yeah. That'll be pretty meta if she's watching this. Luisa Milano's amazing. If you don't follow her, please follow her. Her shit is just incredible. So it happens to get two coaches living in the same house. I can't imagine what's going on when I get fired up and she's on some call. She's like, oh, I can hear my husband in the background. That was really funny how Amy was like, I don't know what goes on in the office. Sometimes I hear Steve, though. That cracked me up. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, so here's the thing. If you want to serve, if you're committed to serving, you're going to want to get started early and practice it often. This idea that some people aren't going to like that and it's them creating it. And that's a disruptive idea in and of itself. Most of the world, of course not our ultimate coach group, right? Wink, wink. But most of the world is convinced that any experience they have, somebody else is doing it. Anything they think about somebody, that's what really is there. That ain't true. Doesn't mean I don't think it sometimes. Doesn't mean I'm not fooled sometimes. I did a video, I don't know, a week or so ago about a day I was convinced my wife was mad at me. All day I knew she was mad at me. I had all this evidence. All the things she did, how she said it, the tone, what she did. She wasn't mad at me. I created the whole damn thing. It took me all day to kind of wake up from my own illusion. And then I saw, oh shit, I was creating all that. That's a powerful disruptive idea. Anything I'm experiencing, I'm creating it. And so is true for everybody else. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means I actually don't have any responsibility for your experience. I do have a responsibility for mine, even if I'm blaming you for that experience. And it's okay to feel shaken, disruptive, thrown off your game. Oh, yeah. Sing it, sister. It's okay to feel that. I feel it, right? I'll get off a call and go, man, I really screwed that up. I really upset them. And I got to work through, no, I didn't upset them. They were creating something. What do I want to do with that? How do I want to help? How do I want to serve? Yeah, Lori, it's true. Anything I'm experiencing, I'm creating. And notice all the times you think it's not you experiencing it, right? That's just the game I play. I haven't gotten this solved. I'm not some enlightened being sitting on a mountaintop burning incense and chanting in a robe. I'm human. So all day, every day, I come across something, I go, that's not me, that's them. That's them making me feel blank. And then I go, nope, let's look at that. And when I look at it and examine it, well, then I can see, no, it is me creating it. And that expands my being, right? Some of you may be familiar with Byron Katie, right? And what she does, it's called the work, right? And one of the fundamental questions in the work and the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet is, what are you experiencing? What do you see? Is it true? I'm so mad at them for this. Is that true? You're mad at them because of what they did, or what you really get to is, oh, it's me creating that. It's me seeing something in myself that I judge and then project it onto somebody else to make them wrong for it, so I don't get to look at it myself. Anything I'm experiencing, I'm creating it. And that is true. The same is true for everybody on this planet. My best friend in the world texted me this morning, hey, you got a couple minutes? He's going through my Creating Your Extraordinary Life experience. It's a 3-month journey I take men on. We explore being. Anyway, he was having a rough morning. There was so much fear about the future, what would happen, what's going to go on. Now, what I didn't do is try to make him feel better. I didn't try to tell him what he was seeing wasn't real. That would just be arguing with the being that's creating fear. That energizes the fear. That actually fuels it. Trying to talk somebody out of their fear doesn't actually help. It energizes the fear. It puts energy into that. I listened, I heard, and then we had a little conversation about, can you see that what you see is coming from you? Right? If you look again, what's really there? Are you under attack? No, you're afraid and creating fear about something that might happen. Right? There was nothing fearful about impending doom, except to the extent I create doom. There's people sitting going, well, I'm afraid of what's going to happen, next year. Okay, but that ain't here. There's nothing out there producing that. You have to be producing it internally. Not that you're wrong, not that you're crazy, but so that you can look at that, see the source of it, and then work at the source, right? That's the essence of being. That's the essence of working at the level of being, right? Most of us want to go and monkey with the doing. What do I need to do to make things better, to feel better, right? That's like looking through the wrong end of the telescope. You're not going to see what you need to see. You got to look at where it's coming from. All doing comes from being. Every thought in my head is created from whom I'm being. If I don't like the thoughts in my head about myself or others, I can go out there and try to get them to do something different, or I can try to do something different myself, or I can say, wait a minute, who am I being that's producing that thought? Of course, I can also paper it over with other thoughts. That's just exhausting. Who am I being to think this thought in this moment, to have this opinion, to have this feeling? And who would I need to be to see it differently, to have a different thought? So, that's some fun stuff, some light conversation on a Tuesday morning. Hope wherever you are in your world, things are going great. If I can be of any support or service, or you got questions on some of the stuff I'm sharing, either to chat or as a topic for another one of these lives, let me know. Shoot me a message. Have an amazing day.